Alright, so today I platinumed a game called Dark Pictures Anthology Little Hope. This is the second Dark Pictures game in their little series. I didn't do Man of Medan, sadly, because it has a very buggy trophy that I saw just from googling it, which is an instant red flag, just like when she has a wiener. Anyways, this game and game series is just like the previous video I made on the Quarry. It works in a very similar way with the choice making and all of that. However, sadly, this game has some of the most annoying trophies for a decision-based game that I have ever played. The game does have a total of 31 trophies inside, including the platinum, however, so that aspect isn't horrible. This is also a part of my challenge to platinum pretty much every single notable single-player game that I haven't already before I hit 800,000 subscribers, because I have no life, so make sure to drop a like and subscribe. Stage 1 to getting the game's platinum trophy is a bit weird, but most guides suggest you go in and do a head-only choice run and get every single collectible, so that's what I did. Now looking back at it, I could have definitely gotten quite a few more trophies here, but I was very confused at the start, so it's not my fault. The game's prologue consisted of a bunch of setup for the story, first with us seeing a bus driver getting detoured further into the woods of a nearby town, and then shockingly a girl appears right in the middle of the road and we topple the good old bus over, definitely causing even more road problems while doing so. There is then a flashback to a family in this home where we are introduced to all of the main characters of the story. First being Megan, who is the very troubled little girl, Andrew, who is also in the Maze Runner movies, Daniel, who is his brother, Tanya, the older sister, Angela, the mom, and John, the dad. Now their names change and alter a bit throughout the game, but you'll see why soon. Long story short though, this served as a tutorial like usual to the game's mechanics, but it ultimately ended with everyone inside the house dying from a house fire that Megan caused. I told you, she was a bit troubled, didn't I? But you do get a trophy for the prologue, so that's nice. We then begin chapter 1 of the story, picking back up at the bus crash that happened earlier. And you might notice that all the characters here are the same people we just saw die in a fire. The mystery begins, shall we say. Also, these characters are not related in this storyline. So the way you go about playing this game is kind of, and I say this a bit bluntly, but you just walk through the forest with fog all around you like we're playing the damn Silent Hill game. And occasionally there's collectibles to get. But more importantly, you have to interact with these main story kind of collectibles here and there to trigger these flashback cutscenes, all starting off with a very loud scream into your ears. But this serves as a little lore backdrop to the town and mystery of it. Supposedly, or should I even say allegedly, there was witch trials in Little Hope back in the good old days. And we watch throughout the game as the main character's twins, I guess, get executed for being involved with witchcraft, all from the hands of this little girl Megan's accusations. It's very bad, very bad. This is what happens when you forget to acknowledge your child and go off dancing with the other maidens in the town, I guess. 1654 was a different time for real. Now aside from those interactions, the game for the most part is kind of slow. Not much happens when you're just walking around an empty town, except for, you know, typical horror game ambience that is scary if you're a child. I actually think the Minecraft cave sounds are worse. Yep, that goes hard. But eventually there was a section with the gang trying to cross a broken bridge in avoidance of falling in the suspiciously dark water below. But while crossing, another jump scare cutscene triggered and we watched as Angela's double got executed by forceful drowning. And it was also winter, so that just makes it even worse. But once we came back to reality, we continued to cross until stumbling down below the bridge since there was no path left to get across to. But while down by the shoreline of the river, Angela's drowned demon began to crawl out of the water and after us. And I got posed with the option to save John or Angela, but both of the options were heart choices. And I, being the unaware little boy I was, didn't realize that even though we are trying to do a head-only playthrough, you can still choose a heart option when the option of head is not presented. So I legit just sat there and let fate work itself out, which included Angela being taken and, you know, she is not going to be making an appearance in the game anymore. A while later, Daniel and Taylor ended up taking their own route through the area because the group split up since everyone's kind of mad at each other. Another reason why this game's trophies are so annoying. The group low-key hates each other and getting some of these people to be cooperative and friendly is damn near impossible. But while playing as Daniel, we ran to a room to save Taylor, who was having a scream cutscene of her own that we did not see from our perspective. But during the chat section after, I ended up getting amiable as one of the top 2 traits for Daniel. Now I have no idea what that means, so I googled it and apparently it means you're a bitch. But I got a trophy from it, so that's nice. We now have 2. Almost there. Anyways, Daniel and Taylor ended up getting chased by Taylor's demon after, which was a pretty fun section to be honest. And they actually ran so far we somehow got back together with everyone at a church running from our demons. And in the church's bell tower, there was yet again another scream cutscene. We then saw as Daniel's double this time got executed and another demon is now out for us. And I say that quite literally because we had to fight it outside the church. Never take that conflict into the holy place, we all know this. But during fighting it, I apparently did 5 combat sections in a row without failing and I got a trophy from it. Anyways, everyone survived like they were supposed to, to, and I honestly should have saved Angela back in the beginning, but oopsies, I guess. So we were actually nearing the end of the game, and I started to get some collectible trophies finally. First was from me finding all of the white frame pictures, identified by the white frames and pictures. Yes, you understand. But that was it for now, because Daniel and Taylor again got caught up with the demons and had to fight for their lives. Upon saving both of them, however, I would get 2 trophies. First was from saving Taylor for good, finally, and then also from defeating Taylor's demons, which is classified as buggy on the trophy list. However, I found no issues with that at all. There is lots of other trophies though that I think should definitely be under buggy, which aren't, but it's fine. It's fine. Oh yeah, next up I found the last death collectible that gives us little short films on possible outcomes for a trophy pop. And right before the final part of the game, John got attacked by his own demon, which might I add was the scariest by far. But after not dying, you escape and save John for good, getting another trophy. I also got another collectible trophy while in the ruined house, which is the final area. This time it was from finding all pictures total in general, so here's that. Anyways, the game then ends, and I kind of scuffed the ending up because I didn't choose anything, seeing as the options had no head choice, and I was still unaware that you actually can pick one with whatever you get. But long story short, the entire game was actually all about Andrew as a grown man losing his mind and seeing things the entire time. He was the bus driver that crashed the bus, there was nobody on it, and the entire story was all just him trying to cope with losing his entire family in the burned house from the intro. Talk about a midlife crisis, damn. Then after a ton of credits and even promo for the next game in the series, I got a trophy from finishing the game in general, then from choosing head-only dialogue options, which I for sure made happen. I did have to reload a chapter from earlier, however, and get a collectible in it because I sadly missed one. But this game does carry over collectibles, and that is absolutely awesome. However, that is when the benefits of the chapter select system stop. You know, that's legit the only good thing in it. I then had to play through the ending again because once you get all the collectibles and end the game, you also get a special collectible from that, and it's actually the final one I needed for the final collectible trophy. Alright, so sorry for skimming through the game story, but it's honestly very bland, and I was kind of disappointed in it since the gameplay is pretty much just walking in fog, which is not ideal. But the second stage of the platinum is to pick all heart choices this time, along with going after some character progression and either killing everyone or saving everyone. And the first trophy I got here is from making headstrong one of the top 2 traits for Taylor. This is done from insisting that she is pretty much right about everything and a lot of choices involving heart, so here's that trophy pop. And I actually did make this playthrough my everyone dying playthrough since I wanted to see some suffering. It's been too long. But it's actually very easy to do this and mostly comes down to the ending scene where you advise the witch court. And you have to choose to basically execute the girl Megan instead of the real problem, who is the priest guiding her. But once you do that, it enrages everyone's demons and they all come in to kill the characters of the game except for Andrew, who then after some chatting with a dude and self-reflection decides to take himself out, solidifying the bad ending we were trying to get. And after a lot of cutscenes and credits once more, I actually got 4 trophies back to back to back to back, which is just splendid and warms me up inside. I then did the same ending except choosing to save Megan and kill the priest, which still had all the main characters die. But Andrew got saved by Megan at the ending, and we got a trophy from saving Andrew from himself. And after credits once more, I got a trophy from this time saving Megan also. So now that I have most of the ending trophies, it is sadly time to go back in for a new playthrough and work on maxing out character relations, which is for some reason not mentioned as being exceptionally buggy and time consuming. This is because you have to answer legit every prompt perfectly and can't have a negative reaction to pretty much anything or else it won't work out in the end. It sucks is what I'm trying to get across. And also the reason that I had probably an extra 4 or 5 hours tacked onto my game's playtime, which is like a quarter of the time in general. But this was also super boring to do, and I kind of checked out of the game after my 3rd redo trying to get these interactions, so I honestly couldn't tell you what went down. It was just me repeating the same parts of the game over and over, usually with no success. But the first trophy I did get in the cleanup stage of the game was for maximizing Daniel and Taylor's relationship, which evidently enough is not hard to do if you just suck up to each other the whole time. And this is by far the easiest relationship trophy we will get. I then got a trophy after for making compassionate one of the top 2 traits for Andrew, which is done as you would expect by simply being nice and understanding, also holding back a few moments when we could have said a thing or two mean. This is also fairly easy to get as it pops quite early into the game. However, we then went 2 hours of no trophies until getting to the section of the game where Daniel dies or doesn't die. Now I failed the quick time event here in my normal playthrough, which is why he didn't make it to the ending, but saving him is actually very easy. However, he doesn't come up ever. Instead, he just runs away into the sewers, but I got a trophy from assisting him, I guess. Angela and John then had their big demon battle like usual, except this time I actually had Angela here to save her, and I did, which was a trophy. Doing that also gave Angela understanding as a top 2 trait. This can be gotten way earlier in the game though, so I'm not totally sure how or why I got it now, but I did. Anyways, I actually made that cleanup playthrough my save everyone playthrough in addition, so I did that, and here's the trophy from saving everyone. Now I only had to get 2 more trophies in the game, but these last 2 trophies were both insanely hard to get. First was from getting Angela and John to have a maxed out relationship, and it isn't necessarily hard to get this. You just have to make every decision perfect, even if both characters aren't on screen together. So I messed that one up a bit and had to annoyingly reset a playthrough to get it. But the more annoying one one was for making Andrew have a positive relationship with every single character in the game. And the guide says at least half or better with relationships, but multiple times I did that and it would not pop. Ultimately, I figured out that by me even shooting the gun one time, it would make John have a negative view of Andrew, making that trophy not work, although his relationship was still positive. So I yet again had to do some replaying, and I reset so hard I didn't even record until the trophy popped, just so I could save some storage space on my poor hard drive that gets abused every single day. Now that trophy was balls and quite buggy, but this next one, oh my god. You have to make Rational one of John's top 2 traits. And playing on the theatrical cut of the game, which is suggested for trophies, makes this very buggy for some reason, because even when I legit had Rational as the top 2 trait, it did not pop. It just didn't. I followed the steps exactly step by step and nothing happened. So I did what any sane person, or rather insane person, has to, and I googled what I was doing wrong. Ultimately, I found a different method of the trophy where you play in the curator's cut, which is a very different game to be honest, making you play as characters in other scenes at different times. It's actually quite interesting though, I won't lie. But you had to choose head options only, and then in the museum pick up the doll and answer with a cautious response, which for some reason makes the trophy pop. I have no idea why, but I wasn't complaining because now that I have the platinum, I can move on with my life. So that was the Dark Pictures Anthology Little Hope Platinum Trophy experience. Overall, the game was quite bland in my opinion. The storytelling was good, they were just telling a boring story, so that's unfortunate. Putting it in out of 10, I'm gonna give it a nice fat 5. There really wasn't anything wrong with the game aside from the trophies being BS, and it wasn't a bad game, it was just mid. Anyways, thanks for watching, more videos soon, and I'll see you all then.